All right, let's go ahead and get started again. Everyone here, there's 18 of us. There's a couple of people missing, but just Slack out in the Slack. All right, this morning we covered all of InstallFest. We installed all the necessary software. Some of you are still having some bugs, primarily with Postgres, which is okay. We have plenty of time. We have a few weeks before we actually start diving into SQL and Postgres. So we don't need to get it done officially today, but we will get it done. We've had students not unable to access their Postgres database all up until the day we started creating databases and tables and everything. So today we completed the InstallFest, but we're going to continue on with doing a little more customization with regards to VS Code in your IDE, installing VS Code extensions, and making your terminal kind of look a little pretty like mine. Because right now yours probably doesn't have a whole lot of colors next to it. If yours does and you like yours the way it is, that's fine. But this kind of makes it a little easier to read, but we'll get there. So your IDE, your integrated development environment, what that consists of is essentially it's like where you write and execute your code. For us, it's going to be VS Code to write, or so we're writing our code in VS Code. We can execute our code in a terminal such as iTerm, which I've been using, which is this. Can you guys? Okay, you guys are seeing my screen, right? Right. Okay, go. So this is iTerm. This is where we're going to execute our code. We can also execute our code in the VS Code terminal, and that's probably where I'm going to be starting to execute most of my code almost all the time going forward. And then we also I use Google Chrome as the browser where I execute code, whether it's JavaScript or React or anything like that. Is Google Chrome. If you don't use Google Chrome, because I think John said if it uses too much resources, you can use Safari for the time being, or even Firefox. So the reason why we use Google Chrome is because they've got a lot of Chrome developer tools, a lot of resources for developers that makes our lives a lot easier when debugging and just interacting with our code in the browser. So I just opened VS Code. Here it is. So this is our IDE, or VS Code. This is where we're going to read, write, and execute our code. So I mentioned we can write or execute our code in iTerm, which is just a terminal and how do we interact with our computer. Or we can use VS Code's built-in terminal, which is right here. If you're in VS Code, if you go up to here, it says terminal, new terminal, and it's right here. Let's see, I'm going to zoom in. That's better. So the first thing we want to do is customize our VS Code in a few different ways by installing, changing some of the settings, as well as installing some extensions. So in your VS Code, we're going to want to copy all this and put it into our settings. And in order to do so, if we're in VS Code, if you go up to Code, Preferences, Settings, comes here, I'm going to close the terminal. So this is where our settings are. Here we can change a bunch of stuff manually, or if we come up here in the upper right-hand corner, we have this sheet of paper where it says like rotate the sheet of paper. We can open all the settings, which are in JSON, which is JavaScript object notation, and you can literally just copy and paste this stuff directly into here, and it has it customizes your interactions with VS Code. So for example, the default font size is 14. If you want it to be greater or less, you can change that. Where we got your tab size, when you tab, it goes over 2 spaces. We have word wrap on, confirm delete we don't need. None of that. Autosave. This is a good one to have because a lot of things, a lot of bugs that are solved is because you just didn't save the file. So this autofocus, whenever you change the focused window, it automatically saves that the window you were just on. Zoom level 0. I've got Visual Studio Dark. So if you literally just copy paste this, copy it, go into code, preferences, settings. This comes up and in the upper right hand corner, click that, and then you'll want to like copy and paste that in there. My settings are a little bit differently, or set up a little different. That's just for me, the way I kind of like it, but that's fine.
Hey, Tom,
Yep.
stupid Mac question. Like I don't even have that Apple code file edit menu at the top.
It's probably because your VS Code isn't focused. So like if I do that, or where is it? Zoom changes like a zoom thing. So this doesn't show up on top when you're in VS Code and you have it highlighted.
Oh, shoot! It was minimum. It was when it was smaller.
Minimized?
Never mind.
Okay, no, you're
Gotcha.
good.
Sorry.
All right.
Hey, Tom.
Yep.
I've got the terminal that integrated shell. There's already a code in there. Do I have to delete that or keep that in there?
You can override it if you want. I don't know what it says, so I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, it's just it says a bin bash, and it's just.
Oh, in here in this terminal?
In the terminal.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not in the terminal. It's already in the settings, the preferences settings, and I already have a code in there. Do I just add that below?
You can override it.
I can override it?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So next, the reason why VS Code is becoming more and more popular simply because there's a lot of third-party extensions that makes your life as a developer substantially easier. So at my last job, it was like me and like 3 or 4 other developers. Our CTO initially used Atom. One of the other developers used Sublime. And I learned on VS Code, so I've kind of been familiar with it. And our CTO ended up changing to VS Code just because of how powerful it is. It's owned and ran by Microsoft. Microsoft pretty much runs the world as far as everything. They own GitHub now. They own a lot. So what we're gonna do down here, extensions are tools to make your job as a developer easier. We're gonna install all these extensions. So in order to do that, if we go over here, I'm going to close out the terminal. If we go all the way down to, yours might not look exactly like this right now because I have stuff installed that you don't have or need currently. The little squares, the 4 squares with the one where it says extensions, if you click on that, here's a list of extensions. So what you're going to want to do is just literally Google search Sublime text key, not Google search, search in the extensions right here. And then here's the Sublime text key map setting. If you click on this, here is that extension. It's usually the first one. It might not always be the first one, but you can tell this is a very popular one because it has over 970,000 downloads. So all you want to do is click on that, and then it should say install right here. Mine's already installed, so it has disable or an uninstall. So you want to do that for that one. Go down to Beautify, and you can kind of read specifically what all this does. You can go down here and see kind of what it does. So like Beautify. So Beautify code in place. You want to install this. VS Code icons, which makes has icons next to the folders and type of files. So where is it? VS Code icons. Yes, this one. So VS Code icons has over 5 million downloads. bracket pair colorizer. That's a good thing for JavaScript. Path IntelliSense. VS Code Live Share. This is what we're going to be using for pair programming. So Live Share, collaborative real-time development from comfort of whatever. So Live Share, and when you install Live Share, this little thing's going to show up on the left-hand side as well. This is your Live Share. And then also Live Share audio. You don't need this. You can also just use Slack for the audio, but this VS Code Live Share has an audio feature as well. So you can also install this. So go through all of them and install all of these Chrome extensions. Does anybody have any questions? So I'll give you 5 minutes till 1:16 to install these Chrome extensions. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, you can always install these at another time, but it shouldn't take you that long to install these. So next, we're going to actually make your terminal have colors in it and make it look nice. So with that, so here's like a little description of what that is kind of like. A frequent flyer who travels in the same hotel chain over and over again will have his preferences known by the hotel so that whenever they arrive, they get similar experiences. The same applies to your terminal when, so you want the same settings each time you load up your terminal. So again, inside your terminal, your bash profile loads every time you open up a terminal. So what we're going to want to do is open up our bash profile using the code command, which is the first thing we installed, code, and it opened up this file in VS Code, and you're literally just want to copy and paste this stuff, all this right up here, like so. And then once you save your bash profile, don't overwrite anything in your bash profile. Just copy and paste this in there. For mine, I just did it at the very top. And then save it. And then if you exit out or source bash profile again and open up the terminal, your terminal should have colors. Should be color coded. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. Is anybody having issues installing any of the Chrome extensions?